Messi!
Gonna heave one is
A trick, and Pat Garrity
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jacob Rudner here alongside Noah Cameras and Ariel Putterman, and welcome back to the season finale of dTSPN for Season 2. This is a sad and happy episode all at the same time. Sad because this is Ariel's last consistent episode on a weekly basis. Due to some scheduling problems that we have next year, Ariel will not be able to be a part of the show as frequently as he has been in the past 2 seasons. So next year, look forward to seeing Ariel on occasional episodes, but also you feel free to be able to reach out to him on our Instagram because he will still have a major social media presence for us. And so he is lost a little bit in the videos, but will definitely not be lost in dTSPN. So we thank him for his time with the show. We've definitely enjoyed being all together, bringing you our sporting opinions. And now the happy news is that we will be continuing dTSPN for Season 3 in just a few short weeks. For the first time, we will be starting dTSPN over the summer as opposed to just starting next year and going out until the end of next school year. So we will have approximately 3 months extra of dTSPN. So that's very exciting, and we look forward to being able to do that. Moving on, we now have the Sporting Awards. Our first award of this year's episode is the Best Single Game Performance Award. We start with it every year, and we will continue to do that. Tell us about our nominees and why.
So our first nominee is Julio Jones of the Atlanta Falcons, who earlier this year in a game against the Panthers had 12 catches, 300 yards, and a touchdown. One of the greatest wide receiver performances you will see yards-wise. Number 2, we have Devin Booker, who scored 70 points in a game this year. The most since Kobe had 81, which was the second most of all time. He also shot 26 free throws, making 24 of them. He had 8 rebounds and 6 assists in that game. 3, we have Anthony Rendon of the Nationals, who went 6 for 6 in one game with 3 home runs and 10 RBIs, one of the greatest hitting performances you'll see.
With that all being said, we have our first winner of this year's episode for the Sporting Awards. Our first winner is Devin Booker. Devin had one of the most amazing games in a long time, coming second to Kobe's great performance. I mean, unbelievable game, definitely deserving of the Best Single Game Performance Award. With that being said, we move on to the Welcome to the League Award, an award where we give a rookie recognition for being absolutely outstanding in their debut game. And tell us a little about who our nominees are.
Our first nomination is Carson Wentz of the Philadelphia Eagles. He proved that he can be the Eagles franchise quarterback with an outstanding first game. He had over 20 completions, 270 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no interceptions, and got the win. Our second nomination is Joel Embiid on the Philadelphia 76ers. He waited 2 years for this debut, but it finally came, and he had a great game. He had 20 points and 7 rebounds. And our third nomination is Amir Garrett of the Cincinnati Reds. The Reds had a big pitching problem last year, and he proved that he could be part of the solution with an outstanding debut game. He had 6 innings, only 2 hits, no runs, and a win in that game.
Our second winner of this season is Carson Wentz for having an absolutely phenomenal debut with the Philadelphia Eagles. But more than just the debut, what a great season he had. It really just looked good as their new franchise quarterback. Hopefully some good years to come. Our third award is the Hindsight Award, the award given to the team that made the stupidest trade in this past season. From all 3 sports, we have 1 nominee. And last year, if you remember correctly, the Diamondbacks took home the award for trading away top prospects for Shelby Miller, who has just not panned out at all. Recently went for Tommy John surgery, so really that has just not gone in their favor at all. And our first nominee of this year is the Houston Texans, who traded away starting quarterback Brock Osweiler, a 2nd-round pick and a 6th-round pick in return for 1 4th-round pick. Our second nominee is the Sacramento Kings, who gave up all-star DeMarcus Cousins to the Pelicans in return for Tyreek Evans, Buddy Hield, Langston Galloway, 2 picks, just in return, and they just gave up Cousins and Caspi. So no return, gave away a star. And then our third and final nominee is the Washington Nationals, who traded away 3 top pitching prospects, most notably Lucas Giolito, a super highly rated pitching prospect, all in return for outfielder Adam Eaton, a trade that made absolutely no sense. Eaton is out for the rest of the season. Our winner for the Hindsight Award goes to the Sacramento Kings. I don't get it.
It's the same thing as last year. The Diamondbacks gave up their future basically with all these prospects for Shelby Miller. now the Kings are giving up their future, their star.
Yeah.
In all fairness, though, we did say that last year, and this year the Diamondbacks
Yeah.
look really good.
But Shelby Miller hasn't.
But Shelby Miller has not. So a trade that made no sense. Hopefully the Kings can make some work out of this.
Yeah.
Now we have our fourth award of the year. This one, the Who Are You Award. The award with a name that sounds a lot worse than it is. This one goes to a player who has broken out. They didn't have a name for themselves, and all of a sudden they are back on track. Who are our nominees and why?
So our first one is Jay Ajayi of the Dolphins, who went from a backup running back to a starter. He had multiple games with over 200 rushing yards for the Dolphins. Number 2, we have Nikola Jokic of the Denver Nuggets, who went from the third best rookie in his class last year to now this year he had 5 triple-doubles. He was really the centerpiece of the Nuggets offense, a great passer, a great shooter, a great star big man for the future in this league. Number 3, we have Eric Thames of the Brewers, who he played in the MLB in 2011 and 12. Then he went to Korea, worked on his game, came back to the MLB. Now with the Brewers, he had a lot of home runs. In April, he had a fantastic April. He's continuing that trend, and he's been great.
Our winner of the Who Are You Award goes to Milwaukee Brewer Eric Thames.
Yeah.
Unbelievable for Eric Thames. I mean, he went to Korea after the 2011-2012 season where he really struggled in the MLB, played for 2 different teams, Mariners and Blue Jays, like you said, and really just didn't look good. So he went to Korea, worked on that power swing, and all of a sudden he's back. So Eric, I mean, looked fantastic. If you play fantasy baseball, I recommend adding him or trading for him because he's definitely not a free agent anymore. But there's that. Now we have the 5th award of the season. This one, my arguably favorite award, the Skip Bayless Award. This one goes to one of the 3 of us every single year who has made a horrible prediction. I mean, we've just said something that was completely off, a prediction that was way, way wrong. Who are our nominees and why?
Our first nomination is Noah. He picked the Indiana Pacers to win the whole East and make the NBA Finals. Well, the Pacers actually ended up 7th in a weak Eastern Conference and got swept by LeBron and the Cavs in the first round. Our second nomination is me. I picked the Vikings to be contenders, Super Bowl contenders. They had a decent season. They went 8-8, but didn't even make playoffs, so definitely not Super Bowl contenders. And our third one is you, Jacob. You picked the Lakers to make playoffs or go 500. They didn't do either of those. They finished with the 3rd worst record and didn't even come close to making the playoffs.
So we all really goofed on those
Yeah.
predictions. The winner of that is, I'm happy to announce, not you again. This one goes to you this year for predicting that the Pacers would go to the finals. They didn't even advance out of the first round, so I gift
Thank
you
you.
the award.
Thank you very much. I'll leave that right here.
And now we have award number 6, the Worst Play Award. This one goes to a team or a player that just was really bad for a certain play of a game. We'll start that out with our first nominee from the Buffalo area. We have the Bills, who did not touch the ball on the opening kickoff. The Jets kicked off the ball, and they just seemed to not want to touch it. Nobody grabbed the ball, nobody fell on it, touched it, kicked it out of bounds, and the Jets ran down the field and grabbed it in the end zone for the NFL's easiest touchdown ever. Now we have Russell Westbrook, who managed to take 10 steps before the refs called a travel on him, and then he went on to argue the fact that he did not travel after literally walking with the ball. And third and final nominee is Yadier Molina of the St. Louis Cardinals. He did something that I've never seen before. He blocked a pitch in the dirt. He's best at doing that in the MLB, except this time it went a little bit wrong. It hit him in the chest protector and stuck there, and he went around to look for the ball, but it was all the while stuck to him. So that was really weird, definitely deserving of this award. With that being said, though, our winner is the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
I don't understand how you don't touch a kickoff.
It's their one
I don't
job.
get it.
Their
That's
one
the
job
worst
on
play I've
special
ever
teams is
seen.
to pick up the kickoff and at least fall on it. They didn't do that. Jets got, like I said, the easiest touchdown. Whatever. They'll move on.
We will move on to the Best Celebration Award, award number 7. This one goes to somebody who was just awesome on the field after something
fun.
good happened, showed off their moves in celebratory fashion. Who are our nominees?
Our nominees are Marquette King of the Oakland Raiders. He dropped a beautiful punt and then celebrated by pretending to ride a horse. He galloped off the field in imaginary fashion. Our second nominee is John Wall. He hits a huge go-ahead 3 to send the Wizards into Game 7 against the Celtics, and then after the game, he jumps onto the scorer's table and celebrates in front of the home fans, which is something we haven't seen in a while, but it was definitely really cool. And our third one is the Michigan coach. Michigan had an amazing March Madness run, and after one of their victories, the Michigan coach went into the locker room and celebrated by shooting his players with a water gun.
Our winner of the Best Celebration Award is punter Marquette King of the Oakland Raiders. Punters are people too. What can I tell you? He won the award. Award number 8 is the Madden Cover Award, given to somebody who was cursed this year. Didn't have a good year after having a pretty phenomenal one. Tell us about our nominees.
So our nominees are number 1, Todd Gurley. who after a great rookie season won the Rookie of the Year, he came back, could not even rush for 1,000 yards. Number 2, we have Chandler Parsons, who went from a 15 point per game scorer to a mere 6 this year with a lot of injury issues. Number 3, we have Jake Arrieta and the Chicago Cubs. For their first 43 games, only 22-21. They broke the curse last year of winning the World Series 108 years, and now they were cursed this year with an awful start.
So our winner for the Madden Cover Award is Jake Arrieta and the Cubs. A year after winning a World Series, they look like one of the worst teams in baseball, barely scratching the surface of 500 in their first 43 games. And Jake Arrieta has also looked pretty bad. I mean, 4.80-ish ERA, just not a good start for the Cubs. Moving on, we now have the Best Moves Award, the award that goes to somebody who displayed great skills on the field or on the court to avoid a situation or make someone look cool. Tell us who our nominees are.
Our first nomination is Odell Beckham Jr. We all know he has that beef with Josh Norman. So the first thing he does is he stiff arms him. And then after that, he makes a nice juke and does an amazing play. Best move. One of the top moves in the NFL this year. Our second one is Chris Dunn. He literally dribbles around a defender, not through it, around one. Something we haven't seen in a long time and definitely impressive. Our third one is Chris Coughlin. He does his best Superman impression by jumping right over the catcher and touching home plate. Something incredible and something that's really fun to watch.
Our winner of the Best Move Award goes to Blue Jays' Chris Coughlin on an incredible play. We've never seen anything like it. Up and over Yadier Molina to score an incredible run for the Blue Jays. And that brings us to the final award of the 2017 dTSPN award ceremony. This is the Best Player Award. We end it every year on this one, and we will continue to do that. Our first nominee for that award is Julian Edelman, who made one of the most incredible plays ever in the Super Bowl, coming away with one of the best catches I have ever seen. Now we have Russell Westbrook, who hit an extremely deep three at the buzzer to cap off his historic night with another triple-double. And then finally, we have Kyle Schwarber, who made a diving catch in the stands to make an incredible out. Somebody who was a catcher coming up in the MLB and now is playing some outstanding defense in the outfield. With that all being said, though, our winner for the best play of the year award, sorry about that, is Julian Edelman. What an incredible play by Julian Edelman to make a Super Bowl winning catch.
It was a game-changing catch in the Super Bowl. You got to give it to him for winning them the Super Bowl.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, that does wrap it up for us for this episode and for this season of dTSPN. Again, we really enjoyed having you guys being our viewers this year, responding to us on Twitter and Instagram, and really reaching out and being great fans. So we appreciate you all for that. We want to thank you again for being so great for dTSPN. We look forward to working with you more in the future in occasional episodes and on our social media platforms. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed this season. I hope you come back to enjoy the next one. Have a good one. We will see you later.